Such a feeling's coming over me. There is wonder in most everything I see. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream. Everything I want the world to be is now coming true, especially for me. And the reason is clear, it's because you are here. You're the nearest thing to heaven that I've seen. I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I've found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Something in the wind has learned my name, and it's telling me that things are not the same. In the leaves on the trees and the touch of the breeze, there's a pleasing sense of happiness for me. There is only one wish on my mind. When this day is through, I hope that I will find that tomorrow will be just the same for you and me. All I need will be mine if you are here. I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Jefferson Starship. I would do anything. Well, not anything, but to be able to sing that karaoke, to just go up there and nail that. And if you're thinking Mickey Thomas sounds an awful like Elvin Bishop, remember the song I Fooled Around and Fell in Love? Yeah, that's because Mickey Thomas is actually singing the song. Elvin Bishop is just the guitarist. That's actually a song. It's one of the only songs that if you went to a Jefferson Starship concert, and if you went to a Starship concert, because there's two of them there floating around the band. There's been like 1 million people in the band, and each one had their own little uniqueness. Jefferson Airplane, then Jefferson Starship. After Marty Balin left, Mickey Thomas kind of took over as a vocalist, and then of course Starship. So Starship is Mickey Thomas is kicking around with Starship, and then some others sticking around with Jefferson Starship. It's one of the only songs that you'll hear both bands actually play. But if you want to hear Mickey Thomas sing it, you gotta go see the Starship version of the band. If you're wondering who Jane is, I have sad news for you. There is no Jane. They needed a word that sort of rhymed with chain, with game. Jane, you're playing a game, and it was the closest name they could come up with. Game. So there may be somebody who inspired it. I mean, we've known girls that have played games and stuff, so it wouldn't be hard to get inspiration for it. But the actual Jane, no. There's no Jane. I'm sorry to say.
I'm heartbroken.
Well, one of the things, you've known women long enough that the worst thing that you can give a woman is an "I told you so." You don't want to. You never want to give a woman an opportunity. So it's funny because how I said my wife was away, and my daughter and myself, we had 3 days by ourselves. But Friday morning, we were supposed to go down and pick up my wife from the cruise ship. And, it was coming into Bayonne, but she's like, look, where the cruise ship actually is, it's a mess. There's one road, so everyone who's leaving is going on this road, and everyone's coming on the next trip are coming in, and it's a mess. Why don't, she goes, I'll just take, I'll get a ride to the, this mall in Jersey City called the Newberry Center Mall. And she's like, pick me up there. Hey, I'll be in the food court. She gave me a window between 10 and 11. So she's going to be there between 10 and 11. Well, she would have been there until noon. Or
she's not going.
Yeah, she's not going. But she's like, as long as I get there by 10:59, I've fulfilled my deal. So I look online how to get to the Newberry Center Mall, and oh my God, okay, Harry, it said 91 South to 15 South to 9A to the Holland Tunnel, and the mall was right on the other side of the Holland Tunnel. I'm like, are you kidding? Boom. And so so the night before, the wife says, do you want to borrow my dad's GPS? I'm like, no, I got it. It's 91 to 15 to 9 to the Holland Tunnel to the mall. She's like, no, don't go that way. Don't go through Manhattan. There's going to be traffic and everything. She's like, go over the Tappan Zee. Get my father's GPS. Go over the Tappan Zee, and you can get the exact instructions how to get to the mall. I said, the Tappan Zee's out of the way. Look. My way is simple. It's 91 South to 15 South to 9 South to the Holland Tunnel. Boom, mall. Look, I've memorized it already.
Yeah,
I've got it down, period. And, I'm like, what? I wasn't going to tell her this. I'm like, we're leaving at 6:30. Because one of the things, anytime you're going south from Massachusetts, the trick is Hartford. Yeah. Hartford can, But I'm like, all right, if we're leaving the house at 6:30, we're going through Hartford around 7. It shouldn't be a problem. Okay? So as long as I'm at that mall between 10 and 11, and I'm leaving at 6:30, I'm good. So things are going great. We leave at about 6:35. My daughter, she was so cute. She's like, all right. She's like, I packed us a bag. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I put a bag and I put some ice things in it. I got vanilla Coke for you. I have a Gatorade for me. There's cookies and chips in there. I'm like, awesome. All right.
She's got it down.
And she was my navigator. But, again, I know what I'm doing. 91 South to 15 South to 9 to the Holland Tunnel Mall. So, yeah, we leave at 6:35. We get through Hartford, breeze through Hartford. We get on 15. Boom. Things are going great. And I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, it's like 7:30, and we're like, deep into Connecticut. I'm like, this is golden. We are going to get to this mall at 9:30. The mall isn't open at 10, but that's okay. And my daughter's like worried, like, well, what are we going to do for a half hour? I'm like, well, we'll find something to do.
Something to do.
So boom. So now I'm just going on 15. Hey, there's the New York border. We've crossed into New York. Of course, I'm almost 50, so I had to stop to pee at one of the places. But so we lost 4 minutes there, but no big deal. We're doing great on time. All I got to do now that I'm in New York on 15, is look for 9. However, New York doesn't necessarily label all the routes. They've named them all, this is the Saw Parkway.
Right,
or
Sawmill.
So apparently, I drive by what 9 would have been. So, like, I'm driving along, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm driving, I'm like, it really should have been here by now, but I'm looking at every sign, looking for 9A South, and I don't see 9A South. So suddenly I'm driving, and then suddenly right in front of me is the sign, Queensboro Bridge. I'm like, well, I'm no expert in New York City, but I know that Queens is in Long Island, and that's the exact opposite
of where I want to be.
The exact opposite river that I need. So I'm like, son of a... So now I'm mad because I haven't done anything wrong, I followed the road. It just didn't say 9A.
Right.
So now I'm looking at the clock. It's like, it's now 9:30. And I know, all right, you know what? No big deal. I have to go west until I hit the river. And then once I get the river, I'll go south to the Holland Tunnel. No problem. Now, north-south traffic was not a problem. East-west traffic was a problem. And I'm stuck in traffic and I'm not moving. And I'm looking at the clock. It's now 20:10. I'm like, son of a... I'm like, this isn't... I feel like this wasn't my fault. Right. And now I'm going to get there. I'm going to be late. And the wife's going to say, yeah, you should have taken the GPS and the Tappan Zee. And I didn't want to do that because this still, 91 to 15 to 9, the Holland Tunnel, boom, mall. I mean, this was perfect. So eventually, I'm like, you know what? East-west isn't going anywhere. I'm going to roll the dice a little bit. I'm going to go south for a little bit down one of these roads. And then hopefully the east-west won't be so bad on another road. And that's what I did. I came out, boom. I ended up coming out on 9A eventually. Wow. by the Intrepid. I'm like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like driving. And then once I saw the Lincoln Tunnel, I'm like, all right, I'm definitely good because there's the Lincoln, the Holland Tunnel's the next tunnel.
Next one down.
And we got there. And it was funny because I said, once you go into the Holland Tunnel, boom, the mall's right there. In theory, that is, but... Dumb me, the tunnel doesn't come out right at the end of the river. It's got to go underground for a little while.
Yes.
So the mall is actually behind me now when I come up. So when I come out, I see like this little plaza with a Staples and a Best Buy. I'm like, that's the mall? This can't be the mall. But so I circled around, went back towards the river, and boom, there's the mall. I'm like, all right, we get there. Quarter of 11. So we're good. So
you did.
We did. So I did it. And then people say,
"You're the hero."
Yeah, maybe a GPS would have been useful, but I had four instructions. I mean, this is not a problem, and I had how many hours to do it?
Right.
It's just, it's like if we didn't label, Riverdale Street.
Right.
If we didn't put the 5, if you're looking for 5 and suddenly it says Riverdale Street here, you don't know that that's Route 5.
Right.
So, that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, they're famous for that.
So, what are you going to do? So, there is no I told you so. And that was my big fear over my head. Like, I am going to get there at noon and I'm going to get the I told you so. Not that my wife is crabby or anything, but, you just generally don't want to give a woman an I told you so ever in your life.
Good advice.
This next band, when they were first starting out, all the members of the band, they had agreed on the name, except for one. One person did not like the name. It was going to be Brandywine. And it's like, Brandywine? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any... And they go, no, we like it. And he remembered his childhood. He was always made fun of because they were playing like a Scrabble game. And, you've played Scrabble out of desperation. Sometimes you know you're losing. You got a whole bunch of stupid letters and you just throw up a word. We've all had that Coogee moment where we just throw up our letters and hopefully nobody calls you on it. So the kid throws up fog hat. And everyone's like, well, what is that? He's like, oh, yeah, that's a word. And like, fog hat is not a word. And it stuck with him for a while. People made fun of him. Yeah, you're the person who tried to pass fog hat off. So everyone in the band, they had heard the story a long time ago and everything. And, once in a while they made fun of it. And they're like, oh, all right, if you don't want to call the band Brandywine, what do you want to call it? It's like, why don't we call it Fog Hat? And they all laughed and like, you know what? That's not bad. So if you ever wonder what Fog Hat means, it's just a made-up Scrabble word that somebody was desperately trying to get rid of the letters. And here's probably, they had a couple famous hits, but here's my favorite by them. Here's Slow Ride, 89.5 WSKB.
Underwriting for community radio is provided by the YMCA of Greater Westfield. Every day, the YMCA strengthens the community through programs and services focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. For all the Y's many programs and services, visit us on the web at www.westfieldymca.org. The YMCA, 67 Court Street in downtown Westfield. We're more than a gym. We're a cause.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Summer, Massachusetts' own Donna Summer. Now, I guess if you trace back the roots of music, you can actually say that that was the beginning of electronic music. In fact, Richard Vine from The Guardian said the release of I Feel Love is one of the 50 key events in the history of dance music. Said one of the first to fully utilize the potential of electronics. And first time supposedly David Bowie ever heard that. He said, I've heard the future of music. And some people thought that it wasn't really going to get radio play because of the moaning and everything through the song. But yeah, it worked. A pretty big hit and pretty influential on future music. That's our own there, Donna Summer. My friend's wife is probably mad at me. And it's his fault. Completely his fault. Now, he's kind of... I love my friend very dearly. But he's can be shallow at times. And he's kind of been noticing that his wife has been gaining weight. And he doesn't like it. I'm like, what difference does that make to you? You know, she's the person, you love her. And, you know, she had a baby. So what? And so he kind of told her, he's like, yeah, Michael saw your picture on Facebook and said, wow, she's putting on weight. Which I never said that. But he wanted to send her like this stupid message that, you know, he's worried about. And now that's like I said earlier, something that you never want to give a woman, as I told you so, but something you never want to tell a woman. So like, I know, I'm like, what? I can't believe. And then he told me about that. And he's like, well, I just wanted to let her know. I'm like, what difference does it make if she's putting on weight? It doesn't. How's that affecting you? And now she's going to hate me. He and I have this most twisted sense of humor, but we have to get through work. And so already our wives think the other one is weird enough already because they hear some of our humor, which, again, sometimes at work you need certain kind of work humor to get you through it. So, yeah, this woman's probably not talking to me now.
That's not a good thing.
I mean, even let's say I said that, which I never would. But let's say I said that. You don't tell her that.
Right. What happened to the guy thing here? You know, protect ourselves.
Oh.
Gotta have my wing.
He was protecting himself. That's what he's
making
doing.
You look bad.
He could have made up a friend too.
Right.
He didn't have to say me.
Right.
He could have said you, Harry Rock.
He could have, right. Or Fuzzy Pebble.
Fuzzy Pebble.
Right.
Great stage name, Fuzzy Pebble for Harry Rock. Now, there's no way. Now, when you're out there singing, there's no way people actually believe Harry Rock is your real name.
No, they all want to know, what's your real name? No, that's it. Yeah, pretty cool. Great name to play off of.
It is.
Rocking with the rock.
Well, this story is one of my favorite stories of all time when it comes to music. The band Chic was supposed to go to one of the hip clubs in New York at the time in the 70s, and I think they were a guest of Cher. But Cher forgot to tell the doorman that they were coming. So, when the time comes, I was Studio 54. That's where I was. And when the time comes for them to get there, they say, yeah, we're guests. And the doorman goes, well, your name's not here. You can't get in. All right, you kidding. We came all the way down here. We're looking forward to this. We're guests of Cher. Go in there and find Cher. It's like, I'm not going to go bother Cher. You're not on the list. You're not getting in. And so they were livid. As they're walking away, one of them was said, "Aw, to the guy. And they're like, hey, that's kind of catchy. So they all started doing that. Aw, to the guy. And they're like, what is that? He's like, I don't know. I just came up with that. Like, are you kidding? This would be a great song. So, of course, they changed, You can't put that on the radio. So they changed it, of course, to Freak Out. Here's Chic and Freak Out, 89.5 WSKB.
1, 2, aw, freak out. You freak, say chic, freak out. Aw, freak out. You freak, say chic, freak out. Have you heard about the new dance craze? Listen to us, I'm sure you'll be amazed. Big fun to be had by everyone. It's up to you, surely can be done. Young and old are doing it, I'm told. Just one try, and you too will be sold. It's called a freak, they're doing it night and day. Allow us, we'll show you the way. Aw, freak out. You freak, say chic, freak out. All that pressure got you down, has your head spinning all around. Feel the rhythm. free. Oh, what a joy. Just come on down to the fifth floor. Find a spot out on the floor. Freak out. Let's freak, says she. Freak out. Now freak. All that pressure got you down, has your head spinning all around. Feel the rhythm, chant the rhyme. Come on along and have a real good time. Like the days of stomping at your boy. Now we're free. Oh, what a joy. Just come on down to the 54. Find a spot out on the floor. Let's freak, says she. Freak out. Freak out. 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 Let's freak, says she. Freak out.
WSKB's programming is generously underwritten by Whip City Fiber, Westfield Gas and Electric, where they offer gigabit internet speed. Whip City Fiber, turning Westfield's neighborhoods into fiberhoods. On the web at whipcityfiber.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
You know I can be found sitting home all alone. If you can't come around, at least please tell the phone. Don't be cruel to who heart is true. Baby, if I made you mad for something I might have said, please don't forget my past. The future looks bright ahead. Don't be cruel to who heart is true. I don't want no other love, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't stop thinking of me, don't make me feel this way. Come on over here and love me, you know what I want you to say. Don't be cruel to who heart is true. Why should we be apart? cross my heart. Let's walk up to the preacher and let's say I do. Then you'll know you'll have me, and I know that I'll have you. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Oh, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Oh, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's that one-hit wonder there, Elvis Presley. The Beatles used to perform this. This was probably the Beatles' favorite Elvis song. They played it live from like 1959 until 1961, although no recording exists. I mean, now, people get their phones and record everything, but all we have to go on is basically eyewitness accounts. The funny thing is, though, they finally did record a laid-back version during the Get Back sessions, which has never been released. But John Lennon, Ringo Starr, Pete Best, and the Quarrymen, John Lennon's former band, and Tony Sheridan, who was asked to join the Beatles, all recorded a version of that song. So this song really, really had a strong Beatles love to it. So good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the top 5 artists of all time, I don't care if you like them or not, you have to put the Beatles and you have to put Elvis in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's kind of good that there's some mutual respect going on there. It's funny, my wife, as I said, she was on the cruise ship. It was weird after I picked her up, and for the next couple of days, she said she didn't feel right, and when we figured out what it was she wasn't. You've seen that? Ever seen the movie Waterworld? Like Kevin Costner couldn't walk on land. She was on that ship, and now she had like vertigo type symptoms because she couldn't handle it not moving. And I said, should we rent a waterbed or something for you? But she got over it after 2 days. But it was, you
feel like the ground.
She didn't figure out what it was, and she was just dizzy. And then she figured out it's because, of course, because she was staying with the entertainers, and they're at the bottom of the boat. So you're feeling all the waves and stuff. So. So that was kind of a strange side effect that she was going through. On their way down to pick her up, I told the story about picking her up. A radio station, they were having a little contest. You could call and win tickets to, I guess some of the members of Chicago were in town, and they were doing like a little show of Chicago's music. And they said, we're going to give you the name of a Chicago song, except we're going to jumble it. So what song is Amazed Nut Joy? Take the words Amazed Nut Joy and rearrange them. And now I'm thinking, all right. So I'm like, I can do this. And so I'm thinking, all right, look, concentrate on the unusual letters, nut joy, this J and a Y. So I actually thought I'm like going, just you and me. But I'm like, no, because the N, in the Chicago song, just you and me isn't and, it's N with a little apostrophe. So there is no A in it. But that was the correct answer. So it was a cute little contest they did, just you and me, except the actual title is there's no A and there's no D in the song. So I don't know if we want to call them out wrong on that, but it was a cute attempt. The actual song itself was written after a fight between when member Pankow and his future wife Karen. He goes, we had a disagreement, and then they were fighting, and it got really, really bad. So instead of yelling, he just ran out of the room, and he went in the piano, and he just started writing this song, and must have worked because they got married shortly after, and the sheet music for it was on the wedding invitation for their wedding. So there's an idea, couples out there. If you're having an argument, don't hash it out. Go write a song, and not just a you're a horrible person song. Go write a love song. That'll fix everything. I don't know if it'll work every time, but you can try it. Here's Just You in Me by Chicago, 89.5 WSKB.
You are my love.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. Ken's Den, Tuesday, 8 to 10. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Somebody
Queen from the album A Day at the Races, which was the follow-up to the album A Night at the Opera. And yes, both albums were named after Marx Brothers films. That song, through voice layering techniques, Queen was able to create the sound of a 100-voice choir. With that, there was only 3 voices doing that, with the way they layered them. Freddie Mercury, Brian May, and Roger Taylor. Now, bass guitarist John Deacon did not sing backing vocals on the recorded album, but in concert, he did. Although they turned his microphone way down because John Deacon was a hell of a bass guitarist, not such a great singer. So yes, all those amazing voices you hear are just 3 people, and it's a hell of a recording. And I just love the orchestration of some of those Queen albums, especially those 2 named after the Marx Brothers films. And yeah, hey, if you're going to pay tribute to something, you could do a lot worse than Marx Brothers films.
That's true.
I love one of the things I love to do. I could sit. The wife was talking about maybe stepping away from our satellite provider, maybe just doing a smaller thing because we are paying a lot of money. And I said, well, unless Turner Classic Movies is in this package, then I'm not interested because I can just sit and watch Turner Classic Movies just over and over again. And a lot of times it's movies I've heard of. Some of these movies I've never heard of. And yeah, sometimes you find something really, really cool. Back when storytelling was the key ingredient to movies. Plus, you can't beat the old stars.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was watching an old John Wayne movie, and of course Jimmy Stewart was in it, but Scatman Crothers was in it, and young Ron Howard was in it. I'm like,
oh wow.
I'm like, oh, and Lauren Bacall. Right. That's the shootist if you're trying to guess what movie it was. But I'm like, oh, just look at this cat. I was trying to decide when the movie came. I'm like, do I want to? I'm like, John Wayne cowboy movies, you can't go wrong with them. But am I really in the mood for? And then he's like, oh, Jimmy Stewart's in too. I'm like, oh, okay. Lauren Bacall, okay. So Scatman Crothers, oh, Ron Howard. All right, you know what? All right, I'm sold.
I'm in.
I'll watch it. I mean, it can't be bad. Bachman Turner Overdrive. I love these guys. I love my favorite one is the story behind You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. But we've done that one before. I don't think we've ever really dove into this song. Now this song. Randy Bachman had developed the song when he was still a member of the Guess Who, and his original idea was to write it about a recording technician who worked on the Guess Who's recordings, because this recording guy, he got to know him pretty well, and he's like, well, yeah, how do you get to work? He's like, well, every day I have to get up and I have to make sure I'm on the 8:15 train to get here, and so that inspired the lyrics, take the 8:15 to the city. But the band, the Guess Who, they were not interested in the song because the chorus was basically just stolen from Paperback Writer, the way all the lyrics came in. And they said, listen, you know what? And one of the members goes, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed for you. The fact that you would just blatantly rip off this Beatles song. And, they never, but he never forgot the song. And so when he had his own band, part of Bachman Turner Overdrive, he's like, there's something there. And so they actually sat down, they reworked the chorus, and you know what? It worked. But, hey, if your biggest crime is being inspired by the Beatles, then, so be it. But they fixed everything, and it worked out pretty well, I think, for them. Here's Taking Care of Business by Bachman Turner Overdrive on WSKB 89.5.
care of business. Taking care of business. Every day. Taking care of business. Every way. Taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business. Working overtime. Woo. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. We've been taking care of business. We've been taking care of business. Woo. Taking care of business. Taking care of business.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. That's what you'll find on Ken's Den, Tuesdays from 8 till 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour, when there's no one else around. I'm gonna take you, girl, and hold you, and do all the things I told you in the midnight hour. Yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am. One more thing I just want to say right here. I'm gonna wait till the stars come out and see that twinkle in your eyes. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love begins to shine. You're the only girl I know that really love me so in the midnight hour. Oh yeah, in the midnight hour. Yeah. All right, play it for me one time now. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down. I'm gonna wait when the midnight hour. That's when my love begins to shine. Just you and I. Oh baby, just you and I. Nobody around, baby. Just you and I. All right. You know what? I'm gonna hold you in my arms, just you and I. Oh yeah, in the midnight hour.
Oh, yeah, Wilson Pickett. Now, Wilson Pickett and Steve Cropper, they wrote that song at the historic Lorraine Motel in Memphis, where Martin Luther King Jr. would eventually be assassinated a few years later after they wrote the song. So the Lorraine Motel, that was probably the claim to fame for the Lorraine Motel before Martin Luther King. But, yeah, so I would prefer to remember it as the birthplace of In the Midnight Hour, a great song. Oh, my gosh, the show is, we're creeping up to the end of the show. How does that happen?
Oh, it moves along.
I tell you, what a great, I mean, not only was it a great week for me hanging out, but to watch the Red Sox sweep the Yankees in a 4-game series. And what was great was each game had its own little thing. Like the first game, they had that amazing fourth inning where they scored 7 runs where they were stealing bases. There were runners who were dead to right, should have been thrown out. The contact play was on. Jackie Bradley Jr. is heading home. The pitcher has the ball, and he throws it to third and home, and they don't get him. And then the pitcher holds the ball. The runner guesses wrong as he's stealing the base, and the pitcher still has the ball. But the pitcher just turns around in shock that the guy was stolen the base and never threw the ball. I mean, there should be 2 outs right there,
right?
And they weren't. And it just kept going and going. And they shocked the Yankees in that first game. The second game, Porcello pitches the gem. The third game, Eovaldi pitches that gem. And then last night, that great comeback. You're losing by 3 runs or so in the 9th inning, and you come back on their all-star closer. It's just each one had its own unique thing, and it was had to be just a mentally beatdown. The Yankees have
Especially
to be leaving out of
right.
Fenway Park just mentally exhausted. They went in 5.5, and they're thinking, nobody thinks sweep. They're like, hey, if we can somehow get 3 of these won, then we're going to knock this down. We'll only be 2 back, and then anything can happen. Well, no, now you're 9.5 games back.
That's a big jump. Wow.
Yeah, and I unfortunately know a lot of Massachusetts Yankee fans, and I don't fault New York Yankee fans, but yeah, I'm laughing a little bit at the Massachusetts Yankee fans who are traitors to their state.
I love it.
But it's been an enjoyable week, and that ends today because I'm going back to work for my seminar.
Yeah, that's tough. Real life.
Yeah, you know what bothers me about real life is that what you have to do has an amazing winning percentage over what you want to do. I mean, even if I wish it was.
You're right.
I wish
that's a good. I never heard that.
Look,
put that
I
way.
get it that what you have to do is always going to probably win, unless you're independently wealthy. But I just wish it wasn't so cocky about it. Fine. You're the better team. What you have to do over the team I'm rooting for, what I want to do. But you don't have to be so cocky about it.
Right.
And that's what bothers me. And actually, it was funny when I was in New Jersey, I bought a Powerball ticket. Because except for that one big one that we got last year, the girl in Chicopee there, Massachusetts doesn't seem to win the big ones when shared with state. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy a ticket while I'm here in New Jersey. Out of state, I'm sure to win. And that
didn't work.
That didn't work either. So I don't have a good theory on. It's not like I'm being greedy. I just want to win it once.
Right. Just what? That's all you need.
And I always say
$1 once.
Yeah, it was funny. So one day at work, sometimes you do that with the daydream. You're like, all right, if I win this and the payoff is $200 million after taxes, what? And I actually wrote on a piece of paper like what I would do. Like I gave money to friends. I gave money to some of my favorite children's charities. I made a donation to the school. I gave the wife a new dance studio. I bought a minor league baseball club. We bought a house. I got a new house here in Massachusetts, one in Atlantic City, a condo in Vegas. The wife is in love with Disney. Wife and daughter like Disney. Get them a condo down there. So I wrote all this down. And I still had like $80 million left over. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I think I'm all right.
I put that in the bank. I buy all that stuff, put the $80 million and just live off the interest of it. And I even gave myself $1 million gambling fleet, which, I don't need it, but I still would enjoy doing it. And also, too, is if you have $1 million in your gambling fleet and you have an absolutely miserable day, how was your day? It didn't go so well. I lost 10 grand. But you know what? I had fun. That's gotta be fun to say. I lost 10 grand, but you know what? It was fun. I just bet like I'll get them tomorrow.
No more just going for $100 and walking out.
No, none of that.
Right.
I would probably raise it to like $5 grand. Make $5 grand a day at the casino. I think I could do that. It's kind of cute. My daughter, when she was young, if you asked her when she was 3 years old what her favorite band was, she would have said America. We had like this America Live CD that we'd play in the car. And it was so cute when somebody gave her one of those stick horses. She's like 3. And they go, what are you going to name the horse? And she's like, horse with no name. And they're like shocked that a 3-year-old, oh my God, does she know it's a song? And we're like, yeah, she knows it's a song. We're raising her right. She's listening to the old time songs.
Good for her.
This one was a different song by America. It was written by Jerry Beckley. And he was playing the piano at age 3. Speaking of 3, impressive that my daughter knew America at 3. This guy was playing a piano and a guitar a few years later. And at the age of 11, he was playing guitar in a band, an 11-year-old. And my God. So the three members of America, they actually met when they were all Americans, but their fathers were all serving for the Air Force in England. So they met on an air base, and they decided to pay tribute to their homeland, naming themselves America. And as I said, this was a song written by one of them, Jerry Beckley. Here's I Need You, 89.5 WSKB.
We used to laugh, we used to cry, we used to bow our heads then, wonder why. Now you're gone, I guess I'll carry on. Make the best of what you left to me. Left to me, left to me. I need you, like the flower needs the rain. You know I need you. Guess I'll start it all again. You know I need you, like the winter needs the spring. You know I need you. I need you. Every day I'd laugh the hours away, just knowing you were thinking of me. Then it came that I was put to blame for every story told about me, about me, about me. I need you, like the flower needs the rain. You know I need you. Yes, I'll start it all again. You know I need you. I need you. I need you. Like the winter needs the spring. You know I need you. Yes, I'll start it all again. You know I need you. I need you. I need you. Like the flower needs the rain. You know I need you. Yes, I'll start it all again. You know I need you. I need you. I need you. Like the winter needs the spring. You know I need you. Yes, I'll start it all again. You know I need you. I need you.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Daylight come and me want go home.
Croce. Of course, we lost him way too young too. It's whenever you lose somebody like that age, you always wondering what songs did we miss out on by not having him around. But he explained the lyric "meaner than a junkyard dog" because he was poor starting out, and he was driving like myself at a time, driving those as he called them $29 cars where they were always falling apart on him. Yeah. So he had to spend a lot of time trolling through junkyards for parts to fix the car himself. And he goes, they all had these junkyard dogs in them, and these things would rip you apart. So to hold them back, he's like, sometimes you'd see them with an axle tied around their neck or an old lawnmower to keep them at least slowed down a bit. So you had a shot at getting away from them, but he remembered that when he was writing the lyric, that there was nothing meaner than a junkyard dog. So Jim Croce. Now this next song, there's a lot of emotion to it, and you know what? The person singing it and the person writing it, I can understand why. It was written by Peter Allen and Carol Sager, who wrote a lot of songs together. But Peter Allen and Carol Sager, they were both married to famous people and eventually divorced. So they had to walk away from love. Peter Allen was married to Liza Minnelli for a little while, and Carol Sager was married to Burt Bacharach. My God, the songwriting that took place in that house, huh? I can't even imagine. Rita Coolidge ended up singing the song, and she, of course, went through her own divorce with Chris Christopherson. So there is a lot of emotion behind the song, between the writing and the singing. Here is I'd Rather Leave While I'm in Love, Rita Coolidge, 89.5 WSKB.
I'd rather leave while I'm in love.
Rita Coolidge. I like that song.
It's a great song.
One of the sad things about the internet now is everything. I'm not needed like I used to be. Like a friend of mine, he was in a karaoke bar and he wanted a girl to sing a song. He goes, what's that song? Close the window, come alive. I'm like, it's Rita Coolidge. We're all alone. But now people don't need me for that anymore. They have access on their phones. They can find out that information now. So
that's true.
I'm not needed like I used to be.
We still need you.
Well, thank you, Harry. Harry, thank you so much for filling in.
It's been a blast.
Not sure what we're going to do next week. There's a chance that we're just going to play an older show because you're not around.
I'm not around. Vacation.
I may do the show myself, or I may just play an older show. We have a lot of songs in the archives that, shows that will work. So I'll make that decision.
They're all interesting.
Yeah, so there'll be something here next week, something that you can learn from. But I'll figure out what we're going on. But Harry, thank you so much for filling in these weeks for Peter. You've been a real rock, Harry.
Or at least a pebble, anyway.
My name is Michael Buster McMahon. Drink your milk, look both ways before crossing the street, and never ever give up your dreams. It's gonna be hot. Oh, it's gonna be hot. We always like to end the show with a fun song, and this song was originally written in the 40s, but nobody would play it because it was controversial. So it sat in a vault. Eventually, Dr. Demento found it in the 70s, and that the whole world got to hear it in the 70s. It is an absolutely great song. Here's Benny Bell and Shaving Cream, 89.5 WSKB.
I have a sad story to tell you. It may hurt your feelings a bit. Last night when I walked into my bathroom, I stepped in a big pile of shaving cream. Be nice and clean, shave every day and you'll always look keen. I think I'll break off with my girlfriend. Her antics are queer, I'll admit. Each time I say, darling, I love you, she tells me that I'm full of shaving cream. Be nice and clean, shave every day and you'll always look keen. Our baby fell out of the window. You think that her head would be split, but good luck was with her that morning. She fell in a barrel of shaving cream. Be nice and clean, shave every day and you'll always look keen. An old lady died in a bathtub. She died from a terrible fit. In order to fulfill her wishes, she was buried in 6 feet of shaving cream. Be nice and clean, shave every day and you'll always look keen. When I was in France with the army, one day I looked into my kit. I thought I would find me a sandwich, but the darn thing was loaded with shaving cream. Be nice and clean, shave every day and you'll always look keen.